Well, it's a warm good afternoon from Carefield Campus, UWI. Sweep there from the young man down to backward square. He's going to look for the second, and it's going to be dangerous. So keeper having to come for it. Not a very strong throw and a well run second run. I think that takes the UWA on to 106 for 7. Tough going for the university. This one is punched through the offside to the sweeper and just a single. 107 for 7 here at UWA. And this is the second semi-final of the Community Cricket League of Barbados under 16 competition for 2020. Postponed because of COVID-19. Leg spinner bang on target and just knocked into the offside. No run. Tough going for the UWI team. I think that's playing against Peter Kershaw's Empire. This one smashed down to long on, wide, cleanly fielded, and so just a single. 108 for 7 UWI. It's lovely to see cricket back. A lot of competitions have been postponed, and also the season, the 2020 BCL season being postponed. We're all down to this is the first day of August, and no cricket competition started as yet. This one is driven, well fielded at backward point. Oh my goodness, the keeper getting in front of the stumps there. And the batsman struggling to get back. Beautiful piece of fielding there, cleanly picked up a backward point. That's slashing offside drive, and the batsman diving, but not really in any danger because the keeper was well short of the stumps, in front of the stumps, collecting the ball. And he's got to get back into his crease, which he did comfortably. So 108 for 7, Empire. Very nice day, lovely day here at UWI, 3 W's Oval. And the third of the W's, Sir Everton Weeks, laid to rest just 2 days ago. And from my vantage point, I'm looking at his flowers on his grave, laid to rest next to the other 2 W's, Sir Frank Worrell and Clyde Walcott, illustrious campaigners for West Indies cricket over the years. And here we are. I'm sure they're looking down now, hoping that some of these youngsters that are playing here right now can aspire to that sort of history and lineage and achievement, and give West Indies cricket a lift where it desperately needs. This one is hulked through the onside and it's well into the gap. No other man at wideish long on, deep mid wicket. Actually runs around to his right. Man at backward square wasn't going to get there. Just a single. It's 109 for 7. UWA trying to post a total here. They finished second in the round robin, having defeated Empire once. Empire rated a star-studded team. They've got a team that they were very, very proud of, and they were quite surprised that they came up well short against the academy. I say hello to Ryan Hines, who is very much a part of UWI's setup, and also part of the Barbados Cricket Association setup as well. I think he's, if not chairman, I think he's on the selection panel. And he too has come to lend his support. What's going on? This one is short from the off spinner, but the batsman getting back, and on this slowish turf, not really having the pace all the speed and movement, really capitalizing that very short delivery and just punches it to the extra cover for no run. Back again, and this time he gets it through. Lovely flowing shot, and it's wide of the sweeper who comes around, knocks it down. The man from long off helps him with that fielding and cleans it up, and that's two more to the score. 110. UWA 110 for 7. So we're very happy to have this competition flowing again. It had some very strong performances and good achievements through the time, but then down came COVID-19 and everything had to be put on hold. And the kids would pass you when they were eventually able to get out. They would pass you and ask what was happening. Was the competition going to be played again? And here we are. Hello. I'm good, man. How are you doing? Hey, Nick. I'm all good, man. How are you doing? Yes. Do you want to book a session for the team, or you want to book a session just to join in and having that session with my guys that's doing the practicing, or you want to get the both machines together to practice? What type of session is it? Mm-hmm. Okay, if you want to price for the guys, I just charge you $15 for the Friday, but they price on Friday evenings. You can have a session with the ball machine, and you and your guys can come and you can sit across the ball machine. Well, the academy is available for us any day of the week. You know, where you will actually book the session. Make sure you got obviously all relevant sheet. I'll organize a very reasonable price for you for the machine. You guys basically price on Friday evenings. Camp going on, so we're there every day with kids. But then if anybody wants a session on Friday evening, we can organize a session in the bowling machine anytime. Trust me. Right. Right. Yes. Okay. Yes. All right, Fitzroy, that's 122, 122 for 8, actually. Sharp single call for. Is he going to struggle to get back? No. And the throw is a bit wayward, and so he does get that run now. Keeper takes it. Bit of an appeal. The umpire is definitely not interested. So 123 for 8. 27 overs gone. We're into the 28th over. 123 for 8 UWI. So good mid and late order scramble for UWI. But then the way we've organized our competition, it's not uh, odd to see good batting late in the innings, because if you've got 16 players in your squad, all 16 are actually involved in the game. So you can select your best 11 to bat, and obviously your best bowlers as well. And so it's normal to see guys late in the order being able to bat quite well. And so that's what UWI are having at the moment, that they had a struggle early on. And we had our struggles as well. That's why you're hearing commentary so late in the innings. But yes, we've finally got Wi-Fi going, and to be able to pretty much broadcast live in a sense, but definitely you can check it out. I hope that you who don't know will be checking out later in the YouTube streams. And this one is short. Batsman getting back and he pulls it low. It kept and low. He pulled it down to long on for a single. So even though back of a length deliveries not really getting the bounce that batsman would love to pounce on, and so although if it's short, this thing got to look to be very careful if it's straight, because with that lack of bounce, get them in trouble. Full length, and this one is hit high, hard, and it will go all the way. 6 runs. Valiant effort for the man at long on. They stood right on the boundary, and he did his best to get up and jump at that one, and it was just over his fingers. I would dare even the likes of Ben Stokes and some of the great fielders in world cricket to really pull that one back. I know that guys have a way of jumping, catching those way over the boundary and throwing them in the air before they land and then get back onto the pitch to take those catches, but that one was a real test. 6 runs, and this one's off the back foot, smashed through the offside. Good long boundaries here at UWI, and this one is just a single. The man at the sweeper position coming around to his right and picking up. So 132 for 8. UWI into the 28th over. This one is short and wide and going wider. The batsman doing his best to get back onto it. The keeper taking it really, really low down. So it's Empire having won the toss and electing to field there. Start off really well. UWA now putting some runs on the board. And UWA will be carrying a little bit of confidence into this game in that they got past Empire in the preliminary rounds. And that was a surprise, actually, even to me, because I thought Empire looked a very good side, pretty good side, actually, when the Franklin Stevenson Academy down at Richmond Gap. This one is hit powerfully, but straight to the man, pretty much straight to the man at long on. Bit of a cross bat, full length ball. And just a single, so 133. I'll brush that up for you for sure, but I don't have a real vantage point here looking at the scoreboard that is on my left, but facing the players. And, shade here on this lovely day. We've been having quite a bit of rain in Barbados of late, which is very, very good. We are short of rain, short of some as well to get into the aquifers and top our water supply up. But especially for this competition, then hopefully it can stay away for another 8 days, because that's when we'll be playing the final, and the final will be contest between the winner of this match and the Franklin Stevenson Academy under 16 team, who sauntered through the competition undefeated. And as I look to my right, I can see Captain Malik Young, and he's there with some of his teammates, wicketkeeper Tyrell Farley and Jordan Reefer and Kier Graham. So the guys are very interested, and they're watching keenly, and I'm sure that they'll be making some notes as to who plays how and what. Of course, they know each other quite well. All the lads in this age group, they would have come through the under 13 competition and all up to. No way, I thought I heard a quite big nick on that, and it's a slow death from Antonia Ford. Could be wrong, but from here I thought and it wasn't a very convincing appeal. But and it's only from the bowler. But the batsman, credit to him that he hasn't really shown any remonstration or dissent, and he's just turned and walked away. But I thought I heard a bit of bat on that. Full length ball from the bowler, just the bowler turning and saying how's that, but no appeal coming from the I would say close in fielders, but they're what? There's one slip and point. So there are four guys close to the bat. Nobody, not even the wicketkeeper. Still, looking at the batsman, he hasn't come to the pavilion and shown his bat. He's just walked straight off. So compliments to the young man. And he goes, LBW. So that's the ninth wicket going down for UWI. Ninth wicket in the 133 for nine now in this 40 over competition. And the UWA players do know that their turf here does get lower and slower quite quickly. The clear surface here at UWI makes scoring quickly quite difficult at times. But again, each team has a chance to play a full squad and call from any member of that squad to bat at any time, and keeps the youngsters interested, definitely. In that if they don't make the final 11 walking onto the field, they're still in the game because they can be called on at any time. Full length. This one is hit and it's a loud edge. The batsman waiting for the umpire this time for some reason, but we heard that one from here for sure. Huge hoik, looking to hit it down the ground somewhere where long on is concerned, and it looked to be the bottom edge. And he turned back and waited for the decision. Came in there for that. Yes, that was a nick, and you are out, caught behind. So end of the innings for UWI. And at the end of UWI's innings, they have on the board 130. Thank you. 135 all out UWI. We have a chat with the umpires. I think they might just have lunch right away. It's 29th over of the contest. So the umpires will tell us just now. But UWA 135 all out. And that's the total that Empire will be chasing, 136 for victory. And guys being issued with some protocol that they've come onto the edge, and the Empire entourage is asking to wait for the captain to lead them off the field, which he does. Comes off with a ball, a little applause to the team, well done. And into the pavilion they go. So Empire, having won the toss and inserted the UWI here at the Clearfield campus, 135 UWI have put on the board. And we wait for the Empire's instructions. 135 all out. UWI. Imperiman and Ethan Welch. Thanks. Yes, a warm applause from the Empire contingent, especially as the batsmen are the ones to lead onto the field after the umpires, as UWI were having a bit of a powwow on the boundary's edge. Aki Imperiman and Ethan Welsh, two batsmen. Ethan Welsh is gearing up, looks as though he's going to be taking the strike. And Aki Imperiman, non-strikers then ordinarily normally bats I think it's 3 or 4, but maybe with the makeup of the team, maybe, or shifting the planning for Empire. But here we are, set to go, and it's Empire in chase in need of 136 runs for victory here in the second semi-final of the 2020 Under-16 competition, organized and hosted by the Community Cricket League of Barbados in conjunction with the Hoddesdale Sports and Social Club and the Franklin Stevenson Academy. In its third year of operation, in 2018, there were 6 teams contesting the trophy, which was won by BNOC, and that was at a time when you were calling for teams, and a lot of teams were slow to respond, and BNOC got enough youngsters together as Ethan Welsh gets in behind this one, and it's a welcome sound. Ball onto Willow, and applause from the crowd, or from the pavilion, I'd say. But yes, there are a few parents, I'm sure, and then obviously some support here. And we just came through a very torrid test series for the West Indies. Even though they won the first test match, it all went downhill very, very rapidly, and the noticeable absentee was the crowd. Full length, and this one I think hits him on the toe. Won't go to the boundary, but he was very slow to move there. Was Ethan Walsh, and I would have thought he should have been sprinting down there. Was there a signal? Not sure if the umpire signaled there actually, because I was busily watching the fielder run around from third man. Big boundaries at UWI. Obviously, it's a first-class venue. West Indies and Barbados play matches here ordinarily, and so the semi-final was slated for the academy, because last week actually, before the storm, when the storm was forecasted, but then UWI couldn't host it because of preparing for Sir Everton's funeral. Back of a length, and nice little bounce there had by this young seam bowler. I'm not really close enough to the scorers to give any names, and maybe I should go into the score box so I can call a couple of names. But it's Aki Imperiman, very exciting young player, son of Ian Perryman, one of the coaches at Empire. Played quite a few age group matches at Barbados. I'm sure this one is beautifully driven down the ground, and it beats the man at the extra cover position. Oh, well, he actually got a lot of body to it and knocked it down. But this young man is a beautiful driver of the cricket ball. I was very impressed when I saw him down at Richmond Gap. And at that time, Empire were chasing small man of 315 posted by the academy. This young man came out and played some glorious drives, very, very fast hands, but he really preferred to drive the ball on the ground, whereas the academy lads found it necessary and more profitable to hit the ball over the fences. Empire came up short. but they did have a very good batting team, and I'm sure that they're looking to go one step further here, having then gotten through to the semifinals as the third place team behind UWI, who were second. And this is young lad, full length, and again it's edged by Welsh, who again ambles down the pitch, little sidestepping and so on, just looking to run one. This time it was maybe just that single, was a single really, because it went pretty quickly down to third man, a little bit to the left. But the ball before seemingly come off either the bottom edge and looping on the bounce, or it came off his toe. But it went slowly and quite straight, and he could have had two there, I'm sure. But again, here, just a single. So 3 runs on the board for Empire. Not a very big total they're chasing. But they're going to be mindful of the surface here at Cave Hill Campus, UWI. Clay surface. It's got a bit of moisture in it, but not enough rolling, and so the top looks as though it wants to come away, and the bouncer is, my goodness, put away. Get this man into the West Indies team. That's what we want to see, that batsmen are keen to get rid of those short balls. Garfield Sobers, not a left-hander of note. Number one, the world over, and the best the world has ever seen. He's carrying that mantle. I mean, he would always consider that, he always refers to me, actually relates to me, that bouncer is just a fast long hop. But Perryman was very, very quick into his stride there. And I almost thought it went all the way, actually. But Antonio Fort, the umpire, no hesitation at all. And I guess he's got a much better vantage point, and he signaled 4 runs, but it carried a long way over that backward square position and running down by the Sherlock Hall here at UWI in Cave Hill. So 7 runs on the board, UWI, and there's Perryman going through that essay and that pull. I guess the young seam bowler is going to know his place and pitch it up because that was dispatched, disdainfully dispatched. Very, very quick in the hands. I didn't really see if there was a shift in the back leg, which is a real nemesis towards the West Indies players at the moment, that the back foot is staying rooted, and so they're staying on the inside of the ball, on their heels, and they're getting trapped. And even, even so, brave guys that get out of position, they will still attempt to shot in some way, but the West Indies lads on that tour just waved the white flag. Oh my goodness, that was shocking. But Perryman, yes, and he's sure not going into his shadow batting at the non-strikers end now. As Walsh is up on facing a no ball. This is driven down the ground, straight on the onside, knocked down. Will they come for the second? Yes. The impetus carrying the fielder who knocked it down pretty far past the ball, and a little bit of a descent coming away from the center. He had a little hassle in stopping his momentum and getting back to the ball, and so Perryman spotted that, and he called for the second run and got there quite comfortably. So 3 more actually, no ball plus the 2. Opening batsman, opening bowler here for UWI. The name slips me at the moment. Very keen young man. And this one is beautifully driven again on the offside. And it's again to the right of the field at that mid-off position, who goes and casually put his foot on those covers. And I'm sure he's wearing spikes. 4 runs to Welsh. And that's 14 runs on the board now to UWI, just into the second over. Was that a no ball? Maybe 15. I see the young bowler scratching away at the crease again. Maybe got to sit a little bit closer to the scorers so they can keep me up to date with the names and also exactly what the umpire is doing, because following the ball and seeing what the fielders do with it in the outfield, by the time you look back, the umpire's already signaled and gone back to his position. You wonder what happened there, but I'm actually on the outside enjoying some very nice weather, considering the amount of rainy days we've had. The system that passed is now threatening the Bahamas and also the United States. The young man coming down the wicket, and he's showing no respect at all for this bowling at the moment. So I guess it's not going to be too long before UWI introduce some spin. That's going to be their strength on this surface. Empire having called for the heavy roller, which was really not available in a sense, and so because the ground staff is not on duty at the moment, and they consider, obviously, with the game being played, the umpires want the pitch rolled, team wants the pitch rolled between innings. It then fell to the home team to get the heaviest roller that they could out there, and they did have some help from myself as well, but youngsters got to the middle and they were totally flabbergasted getting the roll up there. And I was a little bit jeering of them at that time. But then I recognized the human effort they put in to get the roller out there when three of us had to bring it off. And even coming down the little incline and all the heavy grass and sort of softish outfield in a sense, it was not easy to pull that roller down the incline when you're going down the hill. But the kids did well to get it up there, and congrats to them, kudos to them. So 14 on the board, short and back and punching into the offsides. This young man does not beat the man at backward point there, not very well fielded. The cover, which is a little bit deeper, he was getting around to back it up, but no need. It wasn't very well timed, and so pulled down. And I see the umpire here showing the young man something about the crease, and so that could be another ball. So if it's another two more balls, it could be as much as 16 on the board at the moment. But I'm enjoying my vantage point here, sitting outside, lovely weather. A little bit of a little bit of cloud in the east, but it's not rain cloud. I'm not going to go into whether it's Nimbus or Stratus. Oh, this young man, Eden Welsh, he's into some aggressive play, and there he was looking for a drive, nowhere near the right position of the body. The left foot was coming straight down the pitch. The ball was wide of the off stump, and in the end, no adjustment to the foot. He actually reached over to try to get the bat to it. And the ball did seem to keep a little bit low as well, taken very low down by the keeper, but a very ungainly position there by the batsman. So he shows that he's into seeing some big shots. And so the mid-off and mid-on have gone a little bit deeper. And this time he's squared up by the bowler. My goodness, he was coming forward looking for the drive down the ground. This back of a length delivery squared him up, and he found the outside edge. And I think that was missed at first slip. First, it was very slow to go down. The bowler looks very aggrieved, and having had his no ball problems in this over and then being driven for a couple of boundaries, to have hit the edge and have it misfield like that, he's not a very happy man. Now we see the wicketkeeper seems to be in some distress. Although looking at how the players are addressing him, it looks as though he's got a bit of cramp. But I thought he actually stumbled over something, maybe tripped over his own foot there, having to retake that ball that returned from that short third man position. Bit of a trip over, but now he's actually on the ground and getting some treatment to his foot and the way he was rolling, and then they were like stretching and punching. It looks more like cramp, but he's up on his feet again. Coach for UWI, one of the coaches, he is showing some concern, and he's going onto the field. And now we see Antonia Fort, who I'm sure is well versed in CPR, being an assistant superintendent in the Royal Barbados Police Force. And now we got the young batsman, Ethan Welsh. He's calling for something from the dressing room. Another one of the UWI coaches is going on to attend to the wicketkeeper, but he seems, after the effort from umpire Antonia Fort, he's up on his feet, and Fort, going back to his position, looks quite confident that the wicketkeeper is ready to continue. So I will peep at the scoreboard, which is not in operation at the moment. Yes, it is, sorry. 17. 17 without loss into the second over. So very positive stuff here from the Empire opening pair, Aki Imperiman. Class act as a young batsman. Lovely slap over the square leg position from the first over, last ball of the first over. And now some enterprising drives and then the edge found and not taking that first slip. And so Empire have advanced to 17. 17 on the board without loss into the second over in chase in search of 136 for victory. So the pitch has been rolled. Yeoman effort by some players and management in the absence of the ground staff. Some physical work put in because their drive more has been locked away. This one is driven into the onside, not very well timed by Perryman, and fielded there short mid wicket. So still into the second over. It's been a bit of a long one, at least 3 no balls delivered by the young seamer. And he's now gone down the leg side, and I'm sure that he's making a genuine effort to keep it close to Perryman, who was looking for the second, and it probably was there. But discretion being a better part of valor, and the Empire confirms that that one didn't touch anything on this way down the leg side, so wide, plus the single, so 2 more to the score, taking it on to 19. 19 runs on the board without loss, without loss of any wickets here for Empire. And batsmen taking no prisoners at the moment. Young Walsh especially. Well, she's going after it. He's played some enterprising drives so far, also advancing down the pitch towards the seamers. And this time back of a length as the young man is now finding his length, not bowling that full length. And this one, Welsh having edged the previous delivery through first slip, he's decided to be a little bit more contrite in playing this one back down the pitch off that good length. So 2 overs finish, 18 without loss. Empire chasing to 136 for victory here in the second semi-final of the Community Cricket League of Barbados 2020 under 16 competition. Perryman on strike again. Empire having finished third in the round robin segment, and they did lose to UWI, so UWI will have a little bit of confidence to bring into this game as Perryman drives and it peels off the outside half of the bat and goes square in the offside, so it dissects the man at backward point and the man at cover at catchable height. Perryman getting 2 for that shot. Not in control, but getting enough of it to keep it in the gap. He was aiming for somewhere through the extra cover region. And there he's saying now that he's should be more of a push than a slash and drive. But he profits by 2 as the young man turns at the southern end again. Short again. He hasn't learned his lesson, and it is no ball. If you don't learn lessons, you pay prices. And this one wasn't quite high enough, as high as the previous one that Perryman slapped over backward square for that first bounce 4. No ball called by Antonio Fort. This one just above hip high, maybe just around tummy area, but I'm probably beating Perryman for a little bit of pace, getting onto him a little bit quicker. So it wasn't very well timed. Saw the bottom half of the bat, but it's well into the gap between backward square and that straightish mid wicket. As the young man turns at the sudden end again. Full of length, and this time it's beautifully played. Perryman this time not going too hard into the shot, and he slowed his hands down for timing and played this one nicely timed backward of point, but a good diving stop there from the man backward of point to his right, and so there's no run, but a much better cultured shot there from Perryman. Not looking to crash into it and throw any chances anybody's way. They're just slowing the hands down and guiding. Nice looking tempo and shape of shot. And this time it's all power, mistimed, bottom half of the bat, but a smashing drive. And this one, I don't think he was looking to keep it down too much, but the bottom half of the bat, and they went all around the ground to the man that mid-off position. And Antonio Ford bellows, no ball, and bowler, he looks hard done by a second time. He asked after the first one, he was shown, and now he's a little bit hand akimbo and looking around as though what's happening here. But now he's gone back over the wicket. He wasn't happy around the wicket, those tuna balls. Full length, and Perryman swings, and he's swinging for the sight screen. So I don't know, maybe it's the type of bowling, but thought he was more of a cultured player, and he kept the ball on the ground beautifully at Richmond Gap. I think he got about 30 odd, 45 maybe or so. Lovely drives, very, very powerful drives, and fielding was very treacherous because, oh, shocking school ground, more rocks than dirt. Young man from the north south. Oh my goodness, he's pushed it backwards, square back on the boundary. And this one is back of a length, but way down the leg side, and Perryman not having to play a shot. So wide. So between no balls and wides, I think the comfortable top score at the moment has got to be extras. So into the 20s go Empire in chase of that 136th victory. Ouch. 40 without loss. After 4 overs now, Empire. And there's a call that the batsman wants some water. 4 overs and he's desperate for water. I guess it's a very hot day, but signs of the times. I don't think they've done a lot of running really. But UWI having to look to stem this flow now. 4 overs in this 40 over contest. Empire. 40 without loss in search of 136 for victory. Both batsmen seeming very thirsty after just 4 overs, so operating on high octane fuel, I think. Got to cool them down very, very quickly. But good position here by Empire, having lost to UWI in the preliminary rounds of in this competition, and now they're looking to get their own back at a crucial time, the knockout stage. UWI found it going really tough, so it looks a very good decision that Empire made to bowl first. Complaints that the pitch was has some moisture evident before the start. And UWA found it quite hard going, but then they had a good rally to post at 135, and Imperiman is bowled! Lovely quick delivery here from this young man. I'm not so sure if it's the same bowler. I don't think it's the same bowler that opened the bowling. It's got to be a first change. I should really nip into the scorer's booth and get some details. Perryman getting that full length delivery, the first ball of the over, and it could be the first ball of the spell. I think it might have been change of bowling. Let's go have a chat with the scorers to find out exactly. Is that new bowler? So it is still the opening bowler. King is his first name. Chiron King. Chiron King finding a good full length delivery. Seemingly getting through the on drive of Aki Imperiman, beating for pace, and that disturbed his middle and leg stumps, and so Emperor's lost. This wicket 40 for 1. 34 for 1, so I'm being misled by the scoreboard on the outside, so it is good that I came to see the scores. 34, Empire, 34 for 1. I'm going to over number 5, and the one wicket is Aki Imperiman, bowled by Chiron King, and he posted 10. So that's a big strike there for UWI. And as Joshua Hines. Joshua Hines has 2 centuries in his belt, probably very close to being the leading runner in the competition. And he's just a lot of batting Empire. And so UWI has it all to do. 130, 136 to win. And this one crashes into the pad of Joshua Hines and a loud appeal, and well, the wicketkeeper, I think he should be the one to be running really hard at the umpire. Yes, of course, fielders are going to be very excited to the pads of the umpire. Antonio Ford, he's unmoved. And so Haynes survived that first delivery. So 34 for 1. 34. 34 for 1, Empire. Joshua Haynes on strike. And this one is clipped down to fine leg, and that's a welcome boundary there for Empire. Young Chiron King straying onto the legs this time of Joshua Haynes, and he's helped it down to that fine leg boundary at pace. Would have been a thick inside edge, of course, but it was the working through the onside, the free hit down the leg side, really, and beating the man at that fine leg position quite comfortably to his right. So 38 runs on the board now to Empire. Empire 38 for 1. Loss of Aki Imperiman, sorry, bowled by Chiron King. Oh, and this one is full, and again in that same, it is going to beat the man again, and the Empire is going to look, and he signaled buys. Buys. Very close to being a no ball. The Empire is taking that signal back now. No ball. He's taking the signal back. So it's now 4 no balls. So that's 43 to the score, I think. It's wide on the leg side, so no ball signal, and I think it's 5 runs, obviously. No ball for overtrusting the crease, and then 4 runs for going to the boundary. So it would be 43. But a little bit of exuberance there from Chiron King. He did get that one to slide past Aki Imperiman into his stumps and crashing into the pad, but now really trying hard to get that full length delivery at pace down to the batsman, and they're no ball for height. Umpire first of all signaling for buys, but then correcting the signal, having gotten the signal from the square leg umpire, and he's now got play held up slightly because he's into his book. I know he's an assistant superintendent, so I hope he's not writing up for any offenses other than bowling a no ball. And this one down into the, oh, it's gone straight through him. Oh my goodness, straight through it. Missed the leg, missed the bat, missed the pads, missed the leg stump. And the umpire didn't take it cleanly at all. So Chiron King finding a bit of pace, getting that one right through Joshua Hines. And unfortunately for King, didn't touch anything at all other than the keeper's gloves before it popped out onto the ground. So Hines a little bit perturbed now that that one got through. He's looking to adjust his technique. Not getting back to that full length delivery, going past his toes. Back of a length this time and smashed back past the bowler. Fielded by a very straight mid-off. A good exuberance from the young man, not looking to take any prisons at all. Young Joshua Hines just approaching the crease and having been beaten for pace by one that got straight through his attack and defense, past his toes on the leg stump. Looking to essay a pull from his short ball, and he was probably a little bit late on it in a sense, because I'm sure that his pull would be looking to aim it, he'd be looking to aim that towards mid-wicket somewhere. It went straight past the stumps. Oh, that's a freebie down the leg side, and luckily for Chiron King, just coming off the inside half of Joshua Hines' bat and going quite fine, and this time the man at that fine leg position was able to get across to his left and feel that delivery and get it back. And the big Joshua Hines showed a lot of sprite and agility in getting back for that second. He called for it, sprinted back and got there quite comfortably. So that's 45. And again, a very, very animated Myers. And he's calling to the dressing room for something. It's not water because the assistant player who is gone out to take the helmet. And he's sending the helmet back. Is that helmet's not mandatory? I'm asking the coach. Jason, a helmet's not mandatory? Helmets are not mandatory? I can't remember. You know, ask Leslie. Young man has sent his helmet off and he's called for his floppy. I know for sure helmets are mandatory on the 13 competition. I'm trying to assert whether don't have a rules with me. And no help forthcoming from the Empire coaching uh, panel there, and so got a young man at the crease batting without his helmet. So having a little chat there, and these days it can't be too safe, but yes, it is a part of the rules that helmets are mandatory. So the young man, having discarded it, he wasn't very pleased at one stage, but I think he's going to understand that he will adhere to the rules and put the helmet on. So that's 48. 48 for one. Whoa, he's driven, he's missed. Oh my goodness, the slow death has come from square leg yet again. The keeper seemed quite confident, and the batsman had time to walk back, and he was actually going towards the popping crease actually before the umpire slowly raised that finger. Now we got a discussion coming from the on umpire has spoken to the square leg umpire, and the batsman is walking back into his crease because, yes, I did, Jordan. You had. It must have been a no ball. Did you see the no ball? Oh, I think it might have been a no ball then, and no ball. Yes, confirmation from the score that it was a no ball, and so after no ball, you cannot be stumped. You can be stumped off a wide, but not a no ball. Score goes on to 50. 50 without loss. 50 coming up, almost unnoticed by the Empire contingent, and that all the confusion there. But a no ball signaled, and so the batsman gets to go back into his crease, and he survives. So a lot of drama, very eventful over there. But at the end of it, Empire 50 for one, and that's after 6 overs. Stump off a wide, and no ball is dead ball. And going to get run out. Yes, you see a batsman coming down, you can actually bowl a wide and get the keeper to stampede. But once it's in the ball, it's an illegal ball. But then the spelling probably didn't know it was in the ball because he put his hand there. So 50 runs on the board and a very confident looking Christopher Williams with a smile under that mask, I'm sure. Helping to manage the Empire team. 50 for 1 off 6 overs. And Chiron King to continue from the southern end, and a flashing drive by Joshua Hines and miss and true to the keeper. So could it be true to form in this UWI pitch? Gonna create some drama as we go on because it's a very fast scoring rate that Empire have set off with, but then having lost to 1 wicket, and then they were quite happy to see the second opening batsman going back to his crease, having been stumped off a no ball. But now we got a long off going out as Joshua Haynes has shown his aggressive intent. So all the batsmen really have had pretty aggressive intents, and probably the least was Aki Imperiman, who has been dismissed. But then such is the nature of the young men, and long may it continue. Hopefully that comes with a lot of skill as well, if you can have some exciting cricket from them in the future. Oh, the full length ball is down into the pads of Joshua Haynes and worked away beautifully backward of square on the onside for 4. Just under the grave side of servitude. There, now the 3 W's have been pretty much united in this. Sir Frank Burrell, and he's right up under those massive stumps that have been erected on the hill. Lovely vista that in all the histories of West Indies cricketing performances. Then you've got pretty much on his left would be Frank. Walcott, Clyde Walcott, and then on his right looking out, it would be our left looking up. It was now massive bouquets of flowers, beautiful looking flowers, and obviously on another marred because it hasn't been completed as yet to get that nice greenery back and the shrubs planted around, and maybe the headstones built up as well. This one crashing into the pads of Joshua Haynes, and I'm quite sure he heard some bat there, and also that one looked to be sliding down the leg side as well. And Empire umpire Antonio Fort, he's unmoved. I guess my tongue is going to take some untying quite soon after I finish being the loan. I take a little break when I started to feel my eyes dropping off, a little bit of, as Sir Everton would refer to it in the commentary box in our time, it would be a little bit of ethnic fatigue setting in. A little break there, flashing drive by Joshua Haynes. I said he stump on a miss and through to the keeper. So I can see some difference between these two teams. We did have young Micaiah remember his second name very soon, but he was into a drive very early, about the 3rd over of the UWI innings, and he drove the ball straight to cover, very comfortable catch-up cover. He could be a victim of the slower pitch or the dampish pitch at that time, but no real aggressive intent from the UWI openers, but it's clear from the UE boys, and this one is edged and gone to first slip, taken very low down. Did that carry? Did it carry? Oh my goodness. James look back and he's not sure. Up goes the finger from Antonio Ford. Now I can see the square leg umpire is actually walking towards Ford. It could be the normal little chit chat and powwow. 56 for 2. Uh, yes, and it's just that. I thought it was very low, and Joshua Haynes, he didn't move. He looked a little bit aggrieved, and so but you can see in our agent eyes as well from this uh, third man position away, and actually just probably just about ground level or lightly below with this slope coming from the middle. But Joshua Haynes taking a very, very smart catch by the man standing at first slip, and he's got a bit of applause. Not a happy chappy, but he's back in the pavilion. So that's two very big wickets for UWI there. Aki Imperiman and Joshua Haynes, two of the heaviest scorers in this competition. And so it could be a little bit of a twist in the tail in a sense. It started off very quickly into only the seventh over. 56 runs on the board, but that's two big wickets going down. But we do know that Empire has a very long batting lineup. And they're hoping, I'm sure, they don't need it all, but I'm sure that as long as they get past the total, they wouldn't have any real big challenges in their mind because the more wickets they've lost, and then the more participation by the players. At this stage, it's a lot about that. It's a lot about the kids getting the chance to get out there. It's not only about winning, but you want to participate. You want to perform. You want your opportunity. Flighted by the spinner and pushed, just reaching it on the full and pushed down the ground, beating the man at that extra cover position, short extra cover to his right. Just a single to the long off, taking the score on to 57, 57 for 2. And the off spinner operating now from the northern end. I think spin could be a big factor with a pitch that loses moisture very quickly. So just about now the roll has worn off. And beautifully bowled. Batsman, the new batsman is well forward, back close to pad. I think he did well not to follow that one because it looked, for all intents and purposes, it looks as though it was just a normal slow off spinner. But obviously it did not turn and it beat the outside edge. And again, he's playing straight down the line, or he's actually playing for turn. And again, the keeper takes it very comfortably outside the line of the off stump. So interesting stuff. If you see bowling slow and it's not turning, and here throwing it well up, and the batsman this time having a chance to get to the pitch of it and drive it down the ground for a single. New batsman's name. Who was the new batsman? Batsman's name? Hayden. Nathan Seeley, the new batsman. Nathan Seeley, I think he's also the left arm spinner. Full length again, the opener. This he just drives it. Welch, I think it is, drives it on the ground and straight to the man at short extra cover. And there's no run. 58. For 2. Back of a length and play down into the offside. So end of the over. Interesting stuff. Length balls, batsman feeling, and you would expect that when the spinner bowls it that slow that he's going to get some spin. And Nathan Seeley playing on 2 occasions, playing for that spin and being beaten outside the off stump through to the keeper. So only the full length balls have been utilized then for scoring shots by the batsmen. And that's going to be something that UWI will be very conscious of. They know their turf, and I'm sure that they are looking for a lot from their spinners, but they've gotten some success from Kyron King, and he's going to continue bowling Aki Imperiman and having Joshua Hines caught at first slip. Very, very smart low catch at first slip. Young man that loves to pitch the ball up. He had dropped a couple of balls short, and they weren't very successful. One being really smashed by Aki Imperiman. And then one smashed also straight down the pitch, this time by Joshua Hines. So he's going to continue, Kyron King. And he's bowling to the new batsman, Nathan Seeley. 58 for 2, Empire. Outside edge found. Very good stop there, backward point. Just a single. Sixty-four for 2. Into the drive there. Looks very early. He was into the drive and then decided in early timing too, just to pull out of the drive and just wave the bat over that one and let it go, slightly wider than he first anticipated. And so, dot ball to finish the over, 64 for 2. Empire chasing 135 for victory. I'm good, thanks. I'm good, thanks. Super. 64 for 2, and that could be the end of this first spell from Chiron King. Looked a little bit jaded at the end. He started off quite sort of nonchalantly, and then he got a bit of rhythm going about him. He slipped one through Aki Imperiman's guard. First the attack and then the defense in the same shot, and then the ball was through already, so he got through the guard and crashed in the middle of the leg, and then having Jason Hines beautifully caught that slip. Joshua Hines, sorry. He's completed 5 overs. Not close enough to the scores to say how much for, but yet again, Nathan Seeley prodding forward, playing and missing, getting beaten outside the line of that off stump yet again. So it's the first step in place, and a quite adept keeper as well. And that's the third time that the off spin has given the ball some ear and gotten it past the outside edge of a prodding bat from Nathan Seeley. This time he doesn't lean forward. He goes back, knocks it into the offside. He wants a single, but he's the only one that wants that single, and we know that in cricket it takes 2 to run to make 1 run, and that wasn't going to happen. So he's back in his crease. 64 for 2. Nathan Seeley flighted. He got it on the half volley and played a lovely little on drive. So bowler missing a bit of a trick here in a sense. I mean, it doesn't. If he's going to give it ear and it's not turning, he's getting it through. Why don't just give it a little bit more pace and keep bowling the length? But he's giving it more ear and pitch a whole lot fuller. And the full deliveries are quite easy, of course, to come and drive and nudge away. Full length going down the leg side. From here, the keeper is going down the leg side, and the batsman cat spraddled in a sense, but that ball crashed into his, cushioning into his left pad. Exuberant appealing, not out, of course. And status quo remains 65. Driven at and edged and caught at slip. And that's what I think that the spinner needs to do. The batsman seems to be playing for a turn that is not there. And he's made the mistakes of bowling too full and giving that drive up very easily. But now the drive off a foolish length, but not quite a half volley, finds the outside edge and a very comfortable height. Caught at slip. And here we go, Empire with the long batting lineup. This young man walking into the crease. Young Grant, very powerful young man when it comes to striking the ball. He has the confidence to do it right away, but he want to play himself in. And on this slow surface, where spin, or have you seen so far, lack of spin from the slow bowlers can be so effective. As they go past the edge quite often, the off spinner, and now finding the outside edge of a driving back from Ethan Welsh. And smart catch at slip there could be in Makai Simmons, I think, at first slip. So Empire losing their 3rd wicket. Score now 65 for 3 into over number 10. Make that 65 for 4. As young Grant prods forward and nudges this one off the outside edge, straight into the waiting hands of Makai Simmons at first slip. And now UWI are really cock a hoop. This is massive. This young man is a very powerful striker of the ball. He actually smashed 100
off very few deliveries down at Richmond Gap against the Franklin Stevenson Academy. It was a quite flat pitch on a small outfield, but he had his, I wouldn't say had his challenges. I think the first ball that he batted, he hit for a big massive six when the left-arm spinner considered that he normally does his best to play himself in it, so he flighted it and it was smashed right out of the ground. But here, spin ball to the left, the right-arm spinner, find length again on the off sum, and another batsman and not finding that turn. Outside edge found and a very comfortable catch again at first slip. So Empire from a healthy position of 65 for one, now find themselves 65 for four. Sorry, they were actually 50 for one. Now they find themselves 65 for four. Change of bowling at the southern end. And it's now going to be double barrel spin. So 65 for four, Empire. Big loss there. And three very big names in the Empire team back in the pavilion. It's going to be a fight from here and then, I'm sure. Yes, have all the opportunity to play your best batsman. You got 16, 18 in the squad. They're all in the game, so you can call on anyone to be the person for that situation. But Empire find themselves in a little bit of a hole at the moment, but they do have good runs on the board as this very friendly full toss goes out. And big ground here because that ball was pulled through mid-wicket and the man at square, pretty square on that leg side boundary, had the time to run around and field that ball and just two runs being had. But the spinner here, I think it's another off spinner, serving up a very friendly full toss, high full toss that was hit through that mid-wicket region. Reaching for the drive, on drive going down to the man at long on for single to Nathan Seeley. 68 for four Empire. Oh my goodness. And the new batsman, he plods forward, but it's not the outside there. This one goes through the gate and it hits the middle stump on the bail. So straight through the gap, through the gate. New batsman is bowled. So big trouble here for Empire. Big trouble for Empire. And the spinners now are running right. 2 wickets to Kyron King. And then 2 wickets and 2 balls to the off spinner. And now the new batsman, first ball. But it's the first ball from the other end, and so the bowler from the southern end, he's still on the hat trick. Sorry, northern end, he's still on the hat trick. 67 for 5 is the call. 67 for 5. So is it 68? They got 67. It's 68. 68 for 5. Yeah, 68. 68 for 5, Empire. in search of 136 for victory, and they've fallen very quickly. They've gone from 56 for 1 to 68 for 5. Call from the coaches to consolidate. But the spinners now are running riot, and this is their time. A pitch that dries very, very quickly. The roller's worn off. And really, say when the pitch is taking spin, it turns a lot. That one did turn through the gate. What are you going to have? Oh, full length and pushed into the offside. Sixty-eight for 5. 68. Flighted full, and this one is, oh my goodness, it was a full toss. Floated full toss. And the batsman was trying to be so careful. And to see such a high full toss, I'm sure that with all the care that he wanted to take, the change of mind was that he had to be aggressive to that one. It was halfway between the two. It wasn't really a powerful enough attacking shot, and he just gifted his wicket to that high full toss. I say just above knee high, I reckon, and he's wondering what happened. That could have maybe been landing on the scoreboard, maybe up by that very Japanese looking building maybe, or even onto the massive big marquees on that northern side, but just a gifted catch to the mid-on position, and Empire now in serious trouble. 68 for 6. 68 for 6 from a very comfortable looking position at the top. I always felt that spin would be key, but it doesn't seem you can't really blame the spin, because the first off spinner he got 2 wickets by not turning the ball, and then having spun one through the gate. The next wicket was given to a very high, slow full toss. Young batsman forward very, very early and just playing this one back down the pitch. So UWI field is now buzzing around like white on rye, like ants around sugar. You gotta say, they're all over the Empire batsman at the moment, and Empire needing something. They need something from Nathan Seeley. All the batsmen down the order. I know it's been a very tough time because everybody's been off and quarantined and so on, away from the game. How much practice the lads have had to come back in. They might tell the West Indies team that practice, you never get enough practice really. And so we won't use that as any excuse. But right now looking to find something. Empire, 68 for 6. Nathan Seeley, he's there. Needs to hat-trick ball. Hat-trick ball, and the stumping appeal and a shake of the head from Antonio Fort. Joshua, I forgot the surname, very smart wicketkeeper, very, very adept, skillful young lad with the wicket-keeping gloves. A bit of skill with the bat in his hand as well. Taking the bills off and appealing on that hat-trick ball, not out, says Antonio Fort. 68. And this time this young man gets well forward and smothers no run. So needs to find something now. It's going to be hard going from here because pitch getting a little bit slower. Spinners now in operation. And the cream of the batsmen back in the pavilion. Also, spinners finding their lengths. 68 for 6. After being 56 for 1, Empire. Needed to find something in the boiler room. Lovely off drive all along the ground. It beats the man at cover and it goes through the man. The mid-off went charging around from his to his left and he got there comfortably. And the one-handed attempt to his left failed. And the scramble then was nowhere near enough to get him back to that ball. So a very poor effort in the field there, but that was a lovely off drive to the left of extra cover and to the right of cover. And the man from mid-off, who had a bit of room, could not feel it when he got around. So 72 for 6. Whoa. Looked another drifter. Short of a length, batsman getting back and looking across, looking to run it down maybe, and at the last moment decided not to. 72 for 6 into over number 12. 72 for 6. Nudged into the onside. 73 for 6. 73 for 6. Empire here against UWI, and the umpire have signal for water after this over. Bit of exercise there for Antonio Fort to spread his arms and signal that wide, and also a bit of help to the umpire score. 73. 73 for 6. And this one is hit beautifully over the extra position and down to the boundary. Will it get there? Yes. So the spinner, cardinal mistake of bowling wide and full. 4 runs to Empire, taking the score on to 77. 77 for 3. 77 for 6. Empire. In chase of 100 and chasing 136 to win. Young man finding a bit of room on that full length and using it. And now he's asking for a change of gloves. I can't think he's sweating too much. Maybe these ones have developed a hole maybe, or maybe they feel a little bit hard. But nevertheless, change the gloves. 77 for 6. Empire. And as I'm told, what happened on their first visit to UWI in the preliminaries. Started off very bright and cheerfully, and then they lost a few wickets and middle order collapsed. And they're trying to recover from that right now, having lost 5 wickets for 12 runs. Partnership now of 9 and flighted full. So there's some help here for the spinner, but I don't understand where young man Billy, very slow approach and flighting this one. Oh, right when the batsman was able to reach forward and get it on full. But he drove it straight to the edge cover position, no run. A little bit more speed on this one, driven past the man at that short middle position. And very quick turning there by Nathan Seeley. Two comfortable runs. 79. $79 for 6. Empire. $79 for 6. Into over number 13. A lot of overs to go. Not many wickets for Empire. And I guess you gotta say not many runs really, because they're more than halfway now, chasing 136 to just get a 60, 57 runs, 58 runs. Single to Nathan Seeley. Takes the score on to 69. Anyhow you look at it, 69 for 6. Flighted full on the full, a little turn into the onside. So don't recall, sort of remember UW having better spin than this young man. Not really a lot of effort, coming up quite slowly and not getting him sorted at all. Not sure he's convinced at the pace that he wants to bowl at. $69 for 6. Empire here at the 3Ws Oval. Drinks break. 82 for 6. Pardon my ramblings earlier. I know I went back to 70 odd and then 60 odd for some reason, but it feels a long time somehow when you're sitting in such a lovely day. It's more like siesta time. Enjoy and have a little doze off, but UWI now getting it. Did get a few wickets, but then Empire having a little bit of a rally. Last wicket fell at 58. So 24-run partnership between these two. And the bowlers pretty much being found out, but the batsman getting back there. Not a lot of pace to use on that wide and short delivery. And just knocking it to the man at that point position. No run. 82 for 6. Over number 16. Oh, he's gone back, but he hasn't played for any turn. He's looking for a second. Would have been very, very tight. 83 for 6, Empire.
Jelani, too full. Back in the pitch, Jelani. That's it, pressure, Jelani. Back in the pitch. Gotta slow it down. Back in the pitch.
84 for 6 after 16 overs. '84 for 6. Needing another 50 runs, 52 runs for victory. Empire. Mackay Simmons, the new bowler, sorry, from the northern end and southern end. Didn't see the umpire's signal. Maybe some bat onto that. So that would be 86. 86 for 6. Over number 17. Beautifully guided down to that third man position. It's running down the hill. The grass is a little long. Good feeling there by the young man to nudge it back, and the batsman will stay for three. And a lovely throw through to the keeper. So a lovely little glide by Nathan Seeley. So UWI is bowling, not really hitting the straps, and Empire finding those champions to rally around. So 87, 80, 89, 89 for six. Finally finding his length there, 89 for six, and batsman well forward, keeping it in front on the onside, on the offside. So cricket with a difference where you can have 11 batsmen. If you can find 11 batsmen in your squad of 16, then you can those are guys that you can bat, and then you've got the choice of using then your better bowlers, keeping the interest live among the youngsters and keeping the cricket very, very competitive. And Empire here digging deep and finding the extra batsman down the order, 6 wickets down. Turn into the onside, a short single call for, and easily got. 70, sorry, 90. I keep going backwards for some reason when the milestones are reached. 90 runs on the board. So 46 more required. 4 wickets, sorry, in hand.
Jelani in the pit. Well, it back. No other searching. You're back in the pit, Jelani. man, you duck balls can create pressure. Well done at yellow man.
$91-7. UWI pretty much on top. This one a pull, a said missing, and down the leg side wide signal by Antonio Fort. Left hander going to ground, trying to pull that one. So the seamers come back. Spinner's not really hitting their straps, and so it's got to be spin. Sorry, got to be seam. The seamer coming back. This looked like Kyron King, and he's got 2 wickets. So far, 2 of the big fish. That one down the leg side to the new batsman. Oh my goodness, what is going on?
You got pressure? You got pressure in the
Well, well, well. I think the decision came from the on umpire that it looks like it was LBW. And the non-striker is concerned that the ball, obviously, it was a short back of length delivery that looked. I don't understand. I know that the throw came in and hit the bowler's stumps at the bowling end, but the decision has come against the left-hander, and it looks like LBW. But some raucous appealing coming in from the UWI players, and the striker comes off after running a single, so then it has to be LBW, and that is a bit of an enigma. So the eighth wicket going down for Empire. Empire 8 down for 91, 92, 92 for 8. Well, for the first time today, I can hear the UWI contingent asking about the finals. So they weren't confident all the way through. They were feeling themselves short of runs on the board at 136 all out. But now with UWI, sorry, now with Empire, 92 for 8. Where will the finals be? Comes from the UWA contingent. And the answer to that is that the final will be held on Sunday, August 9th at Bennett's in St. Thomas. Lovely looking drive. Lovely looking drive by Saley. Captain Nathan Seeley for a single. New batsman fidgeting with his gloves. Not sure the name of the new batsman. Must be honest, I did miss some of the cricket. Had a little bit of a doze here or there. And like that Rolling Stone, if you stop me, it gets very mossy over here. Chiron King from the southern end. Full length, beautifully turned into the onside. Lovely looking shot by the young man. Easy single so far. Good pick up and turn and throw. And the second would have been a very dangerous one to be going for. So a single to the new batsman. And so a turn and strike back to his captain, Nathan Seeley. 95 for 8. UWI. Sorry, Empire. Chiron King. Whoa, leaving this one off the face of the bat, down to this backward point, no run. Comfortable looking action and then generates a bit of pace that batsmen are not really ready for at times, it looks like. That's Chiron King. We'll be happy to see these young men continue and develop their cricket, understanding that development doesn't just happen. It's searched for, pressed towards, and achieved. Because seeing what that West Indies team did on the world stage, we need to get some youngsters out there very soon. What we want is careful and smart enough to adjust their game and develop their techniques and bring some pride back to the region where cricket is concerned. So 95 for 8, chasing 136 is Empire. $95 for 8. Off spinner to continue from this northern end.
In the pit, Jelani, in the pit. In the pit, Jelani. Back in the pit. Don't fall searching.
Flighted, turned in the air. New batsman went into the gap to the right of that man at
Danny to pull.
straightish mid on, short mid on, who runs around and fields well short of the man at that mid wicket position, and the single takes the score on to 96. 95 for 8. $95 for 8, Empire. Really good. Really good. Testing times now for the Empire middle and lower order. Race to 50 in the first 6 overs. And then it all happened here at the Gabba. Bit of a struggle. Although UWI, I think, have struggled a bit as well in that you would think that their spinners could have done a better job just putting the ball good. Now, this is going to be safe. This is going to be safe. Just a single. And it could have been and will be a second run. And it showed that pressure would burst pipe. But Seeley has batted well so far, and for some reason now he decided to go over the top. And there are men manning the boundaries. These big boundaries here, relatively big boundaries at UWI. And this one, Hoyt coming off the outside half of the bat, not very well timed, but it was dropping just over the sprinting short extra cover. So more flight for the bowler again, and this time Seeley prods down in front of him. So lots of things play on your mind at this stage of the innings. You know, are you better just to block and wait? Will you have enough batting with you, or should you take a chance? 97 for 8. So much playing on your mind at this stage, and it's to become more experienced is how you then deal with the cricket as it comes to you in the future. But young man coming out of the steady batting mode and trying to hike that one, and even if he hit it well, he would be in trouble because he needs a powerful hit really to hit the ball out of the ground, and he's not really not of big stature, and so you're surprised that he went for that sort of shot. But he'll be feeling that he wants to get these runs off as soon as possible. But this one did fall safe in no man's land, and so he survived. So is it 97 for 8? And Kyron King to continue. He's into his 7th over. Lovely, solid defensive prod off the front foot there by the young man who was berating. Is that Seeley or is Seeley berating? I'm not sure. It could be Nathan Seeley.
That's Seeley batting?
Yes, it is Nathan Seeley actually. It wasn't him that hiked the ball up in the air, and he was the one that was livid that the number 10 batsman would take it onto himself to hike the ball in the air when he's a senior partner at the crease. Kyron King. Inside half of the bat. Knocked down by the man at that mid-wicket position. Yes, cricket is back, and you can hear from under the trees advice and concern being shouted across the ground, and that's what cricket brings. Same by this, everybody's a coach, but everybody has an opinion, and they're allowed to voice that opinion, and players get very used to it as well. Kyron King angling down the leg side, and it was signal going down the leg side by Antonio Ford. Leg by 98. Approaching the 100, 98 for 8. You wouldn't have thought that that would have been the case after they were 50 for 1 after 6 overs. There's some wickets going down very, very quickly. Oh, that's a foul shot by the young man, number 10 batsman. You would expect that, although you were able to call on all the batsmen in your squad. But you're still going to have varying standards of skill. So UWI here on top, and they will tell you that they are the better team, although the pundits haven't looked and decided that Empire was the team to beat in the competition. But UWI will tell you that if they're going to do it 2 out of 2, then it can't be just a fluke or luck. It's going to be skill. And so UWI haven't beaten Empire in the preliminaries and now well on top here at Cave Hill, the Cave Hill campus. As we look to our left in the east at the flowers draping the graves of Sir Everton Weeks. What a gentleman. What a lovely man. Bay cricket is concerned for his age and his time, and there were those who had a challenge, who had challenges with Sir Everton as a coach. I'm told, but no real harm in that at all. Anybody that wants the best for you and you can listen to them and make adjustments, then you're the one that's getting stronger all the time. But Sir Everton, the man, friend of the academy, pleasant man, what a talent in the history of cricket. In his first year of Test cricket to score 5 consecutive centuries. I was told way back that was 5 centuries in 5 Test matches, but I've had it explained and reiterated of late that it was actually 5 centuries in 5 innings of Test cricket. And obviously it's the one that got away because Everton did tell me that he was comfortably in his ground and had time to look back and see the Empire having, well, obviously, you're home in India. This is long before neutral umpires. And so you could have had these things happening way before Michael Holding was kicking the stumps out of the ground in New Zealand, or Colin Crawford was running into the umpire. Home umpires will always feel away, and you can always come a cropper. Anyhow, Everton, lovely innings of 95, I think it was. May he rest in peace. Dot ball, 96. It is 97, 98, 98, 99, 99 for 6. Batsman battle forward, so he's gotten the memo. A lot of batsmen playing forward and being beaten outside the outside edge. I don't know if the ball isn't doing much anymore, or this man has the memo, is adhering to it, but he's not missing. Just when I said he wasn't missing, here he is, Joshua. He's got a second name, but he's berating the Empire again. And there's history there.
Antonia Fort. Oh no, it's Carlton actually. Yeah, Antonia Fort's son plays for Carlton. But recognizing that the fielders are going after Fort quite aggressively with these appeals. Policeman signals from the non-striker, Captain Nathan Seeley, that he was not going to be running. 99. Could this be the 100? No, drifting one way to the off, the batsman not being tempted to push at it. 99 for 8, Empire. Short and a little bit more pace on this one. Batsman getting back and playing it very low down. End of the over. Could be the end of the spell. Yes, it is. Successful spell. Not sure the name of the bowler, but he's gotten at least, he's got 2 wickets. Is it 2 or 3? Two, I remember. So 99 for 8. 99 for 8. Empire here at UWI, Cayfield campus. Level setting among the dorms and the halls and the Andrew Lewis building and the renowned university, University of the West Indies. Amongst the scholars, and now you're under the astute gaze of 3 noted cricketers of their era, almost any era really. Sir Frank Worrell, Clyde Walcott, and Sir Everton Weeks overlooking this ground. Pushed in and driven into mid-wicket region to the right of the man at short mid-wicket. A single brings up the 100. 100 on the board. A very appreciative Empire crowd and supporters. And tells you a straight, flat out 36 more runs required. And this young man, Kyron King, he is delivered with that Yorker. He's put paid to the innings of Aki Imperiman with it. He was very close to taking Joshua Hines with it. The Empire said not out to that full-length delivery that crashed into his boot early on, and he's gotten a lot of success. And here now with UWI needing the breakthrough. After these two were looking to rally the innings, and then that Yorker, beautiful Yorker from Kyron King. It's a ball that you can get wrong quite easily because for the Yorker, really, you miss the length slightly, it's a half volley on one side, and it's a full toss on the other. But they're the perfect Yorker. Batsman coming down on it, he thought, but he was very late, playing it behind him, and the ball was passed already and into middle and leg, it looks like. So beautiful bowling there by Kyron King. It's a brave man. I remember my time, I wasn't too confident to pitch it up there like that. And he has prevailed with it here with 2 big wickets this afternoon with the Yorker. So 100 on the board, but that's now 100 for 9. So, or 101? 101 for 9. Last man at the crease, needing 35 runs. Empire. 100? I think they knocked the ball to mid-wicket and got a single.
All right, 100. Being corrected. Some very often when you blink, you're not sure if you're awake in the or if you just blink because it's that time of the afternoon. You put me to sit down and these things can happen. But not really that it matters very much at the moment. But that's the score 101, 101. Yes, I was right. It was a blink. 101, 101 for 9. Kyron King, back of a length outside the off stump. And again, this wicketkeeper is jumping and appealing. And again, I say that when you haven't got a lot of confidence in the umpire, you're going to find a lot of appealing going on. And true to form, young man, almost every ball he catches from this end, he's appealing. Any ball that he catches from the southern end, and he can take the bills off, he's taking the bills off and appealing to the square leg umpire. So that tells a story in itself. 101 for 9, Empire. In search of 136 for victory, which looks a long way off at the moment, but the captain, Nathan Seeley, he is still there. And here comes Kyron King, looking for that Yorker. Nope. And it's a Yorker. Sorry, it's a no ball. This one was back on the left side of the off stump, but every now and then he slips this Yorker in. He's got a good Yorker, this young man. He's paid dividends for him in this game so far. But he hasn't tried to use it to this new batsman as yet. Number 11 at the crease. Back up the left side of the off stump. No ball signaled by Antonio Fort. 102 for 9. Empire. Kyron King from the south. The attempted Yorker, lovely drive, well picked up by the bowler. No, it wasn't actually. He was shaping to throw when he thought he had the ball, but it's gone through his hands and through his legs and picked up at the man at that sitting at that short mid-off position. No run. Score remains 102. 102 for 9. 34 more runs required. Seems a long way off at the moment. A lot of overs though. Lovely day here at Cave Hill campus of the University of the West Indies, as Kyron King misses his run-up. For the second semi-final after a long delay, 4 months, 4 or 5 months, supposed to be finishing in March, April, May, June, July. Yes, so 4 and a bit months off. Very happy to have cricket back on the field. Attempted York. This one is dug out in the mid-wicket region. Will they go for a single? The call was yes, no, and the throw comes in, hits the stumps at the keeper's end. But the batsman had already decided no, they're not going for a single, and so they're both back in their respective creases. 102 for 9. And Nathan Seeley has some choices to make. Will he trust his partner and try to get these runs in normal play, singles and twos? Or will he try to do the glory thing and go for some big boundary hitting? I don't think that second avenue is going to really pay a lot of dividends at the moment. So he's got to trust his partner and look for those singles and hope that the bowling changes can bring some more receptible bowling for these runs to come. But after the first wicket went down was the introduction of the off spinner, who's now finished his spell from the northern end. And the new bowler is going to be Kai Simmons, who bowled a couple overs, one over maybe from the southern end, and was not impressive, to say the least. Change the bowling, bring the Empire. 102 for 9. Nathan Seeley on strike. Lukai Simmons to bowl. Empire requiring another 34 runs. UWI just 1 wicket. not taking many chances. There are 3 men out on the onside boundary. 5-4 leg side field with 3 men on the boundary and 2 saving, 1 at backward square and 1 at straightish mid wicket. Back, no pace to use though. Knocking this one back with a point on the offside. Easily fielded. So it's a ground that can create some scoring challenges where the outfield is naturally slightly heavy. And the pitch on the low side. Making it tough to get pace on the ball. And then the batsmen try to use that pace. Struggling to get worth for their shots on this heavy outfield, and it's a big field. Lovely off drive shot there, but not beating the man at that short extra cover. Moves to his left and fields, and Tilly has to get back into his crease. So 102 for 9. 4 dot balls in this over so far from Mackay Simmons. Whoa! Desperate for that single, playing off the line of the stumps, it looks like, turning his wrist on the delivery, luckily getting the full bat face on it and knocking it into the onside to the man at that short backward square position, and a quick single taken. So 103 for 9. Field steps in a few yards off the boundary. And this time this ball is chipped back to the bowler, Mackay Simmons, and that is it. Caught and bowled. Mackay Simmons take the last wicket, and UWI have once again triumphed over Empire. Empire, the star-studded team with the Perrymans and the Joshua Haineses and the Grants. Kia G, the big hitter, went out and he got the 1 delivery, edge into first slip, and so surprise, surprise, but it can't be because it's 2-2 where Empire have again lost to the UWI, and so the UWI will contest the final at the Franklin Stevenson Academy in Bennett on the 9th of August, which is a week tomorrow, for the 2020 under 16 Community Cricket League of Barbados competition. So congratulations to UWI. Commiserations to Empire. Low scoring match, and a very disappointed Empire here to get their greetings and thank UWA for putting the match on.